So this is our vlog for episode 2 of season 2, Some Assembly Required. If you're new to the series and not totally sold on it and trying to fast track your way through the first couple of seasons, I definitely recommend that you skip this episode. It's kind of bad. So this episode is skippable, and if you skipped it, I'm going to try to explain the basic plot to you. So a former Sunnydale High School student died, but he was brought back to life by his younger brother. And now his younger brother is trying to build his undead brother a girlfriend. So this kid, who's really a sciencey kid at school, and with the help of his friend, are trying to use dead girls to make a girlfriend for the dead brother. And so they've been grave robbing, basically, to get parts. But when they get to the head, so they have just the head left, they find that they need a live head. And thus we enter the moral dilemma between these two kids who are trying to build a girl out of other dead girls. And they set their eyes on Cordelia because Mr. Dead Jock Dude apparently used to be really cool, and Cordelia had a thing for him before he died. And although she did used to like him, Cordelia's obviously not too keen on the idea of dying to be his girlfriend, literally. So they kidnap Cordelia with the intention of beheading her and making her the head to the girlfriend, but of course the gang shows up and saves Cordelia. But the dead zombie boy dies in a fire because he's unwilling to leave his headless dead body girlfriend thing that they're trying to build for him. So at the end of the day, the dead kid really ends up really dead, and all is right with the world, basically. So this is the beginning of the season. It's still pretty episodic. Season 2 is kind of the transition out of this. I think season 2 is very inconsistent. It has some really good episodes, and it also has episodes like this one that are more reminiscent of season 1. And I think season 2 is kind of this transition into what Buffy was, which is like a of the week, X-Files sort of style problem that gets solved by the end of the episode, to this really more complex storyline that will go over the entire season. So this season starts to do this, but there are definitely episodes where you feel like you fall back from it. Like, we have this plot that we're progressing toward, and sometimes you'll get to these episodes, like this one in particular, where you just feel like, did anything even happen in this episode? I could totally have skipped it. So the things that do happen and did happen in this episode are mostly skippable. Anyway. So, what do we find out in this episode that is worth perhaps maybe remembering? Well, for one, Angel is jealous of Xander. As we might have guessed, in When She Was Bad, when Buffy did her sexy dance, there are ways in which Angel is jealous of Xander, even though maybe he's not threatened by Xander, shall we say, romantically. Cordelia appears to be kind of the in-charge cheerleader, even though we see the head cheerleader from the episode Witch. That same actress is back again. So we see that head cheerleader is still there, even though Cordelia seems to be more in charge. So I guess what I would wonder is, did Cordelia sort of usurp her and is now head cheerleader? Or did Cordelia just sort of decide she's head cheerleader and perhaps just sort of act as head cheerleader, even though technically it's this other girl, but just because Cordelia holds so much social clout or whatever. And another thing that we see in this episode is that Cordelia is making moves on Angel. I think Cordelia expressed interest in Angel prior to this, but I think she's kind of going for it now. So we will see what happens. So, some thoughts. The triangles. Cordelia wants Angel, which makes Buffy upset. However, Buffy and Angel's love seems sort of forbidden. However, I'm not sure. I mean, at least Cordelia is not the Vampire Slayer, but Cordelia is also human, and I don't think she knows that Angel is a vampire. Buffy and Angel sort of seem to have this awareness that or feeling that that their love is forbidden. They seem to know they can't be with each other. But again, Cordelia is human too on Thursdays and Sundays. So Angel can't really be with her either. But Cordelia doesn't know Angel's a vampire. I'm just saying everything over again. But then again, maybe she does know. It's also always entirely possible that things happen off screen in this universe, right? So maybe Cordelia knows that that Angel's a vampire. We just didn't see that conversation happen. Or maybe I'm forgetting it. Is Cordelia attracted to Xander? She was really sincere at the episode, at the end of this episode, in thanking Xander. In a way that is sort of unique for her character. She just really, she shows up and is really grateful and appreciative, and she's thanking him, but then he just tells her to go away. But I also think it's worth noting that when he tells her to go away, she seems offended and just sort of goes away, which also seems uncharacteristic of Cordelia. Like, why didn't she just say something really mean back? Is it just because she's particularly grateful for how he helped save her, and does that mean she just is going to give him a little bit of a pass? But she doesn't simply bite back at him as she normally would. And just in terms of like analyzing the way that television works, the scene happens when Xander and Willow are talking about why they never have a date, and then he's rude to Cordelia. And maybe that's just supposed to sort of show, maybe that's why Xander can't get a girlfriend. He's maybe could stand to be kinder to people. I don't know. We don't really see all of Xander's interactions with people that aren't the core of our group, but anyway. It's just something that I noticed and seemed interesting. Again, I think most of this episode is really on the surface. It shows you a little bit more about Cordelia and a little bit about Buffy and Angel's jealousy. But I mean, I don't think there's a lot of subtext in this episode. So, anyway, what conversations could we get out of it, though, if we were trying to have a conversation about this episode? Well, some of the young boys in this episode feel entitled to the women in their lives. The dead kid surely feels like, let's kill someone so that I can have a girlfriend, and feels like this relationship with Cordelia, he doesn't seem to have a problem with the idea of killing Cordelia to make himself a girlfriend. And so the other kid has that idea too, like, and he's also taking pictures of women without their permission, just going around school taking pictures of hot girls. They never said yes or posed, or they're not interested in having their picture taken, and yet he does it. But, you know, we all sort of take pictures of people sometimes, maybe without their permission. If I'm traveling or something, I might take a picture, and there might be, you know, I might be taking a picture of a building and there might be people in that picture, and I might post pictures of those people online. Or, you know, Google's street maps or whatever will take pictures of people in the streets as it takes its map pictures, and some of us have ended up on Google Maps Street View. Is it right to take pictures of people without their permission? Where is the line for that? I don't think it's clear, but I think it's interesting to talk about. When is it okay to take someone's picture and when is it not? And when is a picture of someone so intentional that it does merit needing their permission? Like, it's clearly a picture of that person versus a picture they happen to be in, maybe. And where's the line? Where's the difference? When what's okay and what's not? Even though Cordelia and her almost dead boyfriend liked each other at a point in time when they were both alive, does it mean it was okay for him to take her and try to make her his? I mean, she did like him. Where's that line? If someone likes you, does that mean you're entitled to them? And how might we compare the actions of these young boys, the three of them, how they're behaving, what they feel is okay or that they're entitled to, or the way that they treat women? How might we compare their actions to perhaps how Giles is behaving toward Jenny in this episode? How is he approaching his potential relationship differently than the boys are approaching theirs? And what might that contrast teach us? Okay. The next episode is called School Hard, and I recommend that you watch it. It is the first episode that a character named, two characters show up in, really. Spike and Drusilla. And if you are remotely familiar with Buffy's storylines, you may know that these are characters that are worth paying attention to and that the fans have strong feelings about. So this is the first episode that this pair shows up in, and so I hope you will appreciate next week's episode. So School Hard, watch it, and I'll see you next time.